25th episode of Can We Talk? Hey, for a minute. Hey, it's your girl Belinda, also known as Muna Kampala. Hey, and I'm the host of the Can We Talk podcast. If you're tuning in on YouTube, this is our first episode on YouTube. So it's the first episode that we're going to have both video and audio available. So again, if you're also listening on your favorite podcast platform, whether it's Anchor or Google or Apple Podcasts, shout out to you because that means you're a real one. You've been subscribing, you know what's up. Yeah. But for anyone who's new here, Can We Talk is a Ugandan podcast that has been running for about a year and 6 months now. It's a podcast that features two types of episodes. So there's usually the conversations that we have with someone. Someone comes onto the podcast and we talk about anything and everything from like jobs to sex to relationships to everything. And then there's the self-reflective episodes that have just me talking about past experiences. Though that will change, we will be having more and more guests come onto the self-reflective episodes because I think like you can learn about things in different ways. You can learn about them through conversations and you can learn about them by reflecting on your own journey. So that's the reason for the 2 episodes. Anyway, when I started this podcast about a year ago, I was just like, I would never reach like 25 episodes. Like I never thought so. But now that we're here, we had to step it up a notch, you know, take it to level number 2. So that's why we're now doing some video content because also a lot of our subscribers have been asking for video content. So here we are, because you know what that is? It's growth. Yeah. So when I was reflecting on what this episode should be about, I went back to our old episodes. And if you're an old-time G, and you've been here from the beginning, if you've listened to episode 1 was on identity. So as I was thinking, I was like, maybe I should do something that's concerning identity, you know, be cool and bring everything back around. What's that saying? Something about everything coming full circle. Yeah, if you've listened to the Nas album, shout out to you. But yeah, everything coming full circle. And then as I was thinking about what to do with identity, I was scrolling through my Twitter. I love Twitter. Okay. And Ugandan Twitter is just, it's jokes, yo. Like, it's jokes. So, Uganda's independence was last week, October 9th. Shout out to Uganda. And at the same time, we had that, what's his name? I forgot his name. Oh, that one. He won the race. He represented for Uganda in the Independence Week. I'm ashamed that I know his name starts with Hi, I'll cut that out. Anyway, yeah, so Uganda's independence was last week, and with Uganda's independence coming up. By the way, sidebar, don't judge me. I know you can see the back of this video. I just moved, the girl just moved, so the TV is on the floor. We're struggling, keeping it real. Anyway, no, getting back to what I was talking about. So a lot of the Ugandans on Twitter were making fun of Ugandans in the diaspora, how when independence rolls around, you're going to see all of us in the diaspora like, oh my God, Uganda, my country, what? Like all these things, yet people in Uganda, like, bruh, like, I remember when I was in Uganda, Independence Day was just an excuse to go to Jinja. In Tebe, like you either had to get out of Kampala or something and just party because guess what? Now you have no work, there's no school. Like Uganda's, like October 9th, that weekend was a reason to party in true Ugandan fashion. So it was just so funny, like reading through the tweets and seeing like them making fun. Because it's true, like when it's Independence Day, you're going to see all of like the Ugandans in the diaspora where all they're like, Ugandan thread, let's see all the pretty girls, like, you know, like it's so funny. But as the legendary Bad Black said,
so you're not going to scare us. Already scaring, you shall not scare us. We are still moving, we are still
scaring her, you know, gonna scare us. Yeah, we are representing for Uganda. In fact, let me even get my Ugandan flag, like. Don't know, we're in the building. What? I should, you're Ugandan in the diaspora when you have the Ugandan flag. I should talk with it like this, eh? Like, so I'm from Uganda. And I know, jokes aside, yeah. I was just reflecting on which parts of my identity are from me being Ugandan, and especially having left, like when you leave and you come to a different country, and it's not just like coming to Canada or US or what, just getting out of Uganda and getting into Nairobi, like going to Kenya, immediately the fact that you're Ugandan becomes your identity. Like the first question I'm asked when I meet someone after how are you is always, where are you from? Are you Ugandan? So being Ugandan becomes part of your identity. Before you meet someone, like if someone tells you, go meet this person, you're like, are they Ugandan? Go for this party. Which party are we going for? Are they Ugandans? Where are they from? Like, so where you're from, like your country, where you're from becomes like a huge part of your identity. And I was just reflecting on that because and before I left Uganda, apart from I knew I was Ugandan because my guy, we're fun. But maybe apart from when I'm answering my SST questions and I'm like, yeah, Uganda, this, it wasn't really a thing I had to say that I'm Ugandan, because again, I'm in the country, you don't think about it. But then when you leave, it's you're just Ugandan. So let me give you at least 4 ways to spot a Ugandan. Yeah? 1, party after party. Party after party. Of course, it doesn't matter where you go, every single place I've been to, Ugandans are known for partying. Guys, I was in the smallest village in BC, in Canada, and even there, who was running the party scene in terms of the international people? Ugandans. Ugandans will represent in the party club no matter what, whether it's you want us to dance, we are here, what are we dancing? You want us to drink, okay, what are we drinking? Ugandans know how to have a good time, definitely. That's the number one way to know that one is a Ugandan. They enjoy good time. 2, I was going to say something else, but just looking at myself in this video, guys, 2 is right here. Especially if it's a Ugandan girl, I could even say East African girls. Yo, why did God give us this forehead? Look, bruh, I think my hairline is supposed to have started from here. Yeah, it's not the forehead, but it's nah, my G, we're still going. So it's the forehead is always number 2. Especially if it's a Ugandan girl, but that's what makes us so pretty. Oh. Yeah, the third way to spot a Ugandan is the way they talk. I'm not embarrassed of my Uglish, the way we talk. A lot of times, I was just seeing a TikTok video recently of a Ugandan versus white person pronunciation of things, and I'm like, what is this? But yeah, just the way we talk is a good way to also spot a Ugandan. It's only Ugandans who say things first extend, to mean move, or we say, my favorite ones are me as me. We put me as if the word I is not enough to take up the ownership of what you're saying. So you'll be like, me, I don't want to come there. Me as me, I don't like that. There's always me, then the following things. That's a Ugandan thing. Another thing is, if you've been listening to Can We Talk, I'm sure you now know Statafa. That's one of my favorite things to say. Statafa basically means the star of the movie doesn't die. And if they die, they come back in the season 2 of the series. It's a Ugandan saying that came up, especially back in the day, where in movies, the main character never used to die, even in series. Even if they'll die, they'll come back as a ghost the next season. Even in Nigerian movies, they'll be to God be the glory, and after that, the guy is back. Because guess what? Statafa. And the reason I have to explain why I like that saying. I just like that saying because in life, there are periods you'll be feeling man, you've given up, you're down, what? But you have to remember, you're the star of your own movie. And the star doesn't die in his own movie. Nah, man, you're the star. Like, star doesn't look far. So you always have to come back, whether it takes you coming back in season 2 or when you take a whole season off and you come back in season 3. You have to come back. Because guess what? You're the star of that movie. So, Statafa. What else do I like? Well, they're the usual things. Kale, Banange, what? I use, how do I not explain Muna Kampala? The reason I like to go by Muna Kampala, a lot of times people think it's because of the song. Well, also the song. The song was the best song ever. So, Muna Kampala, but for me, I feel like Muna Kampala it's a definition one. So Muna Kampala means someone from Kampala. But it also just means, it's like a lifestyle. Like if you're from Kampala, you probably know how to hustle your way through some things. You know how to enjoy life again. Like you embody the characteristics of someone from Kampala, from Uganda. So that's what Muna Kampala is. Statafa, what else do I like saying? So speaking of identity as being a Ugandan, because that's what we're looking at today. I think a lot of times that we can find our identity through the stories that we read. I'm a big reader. I believe in reading books because books let you know that one, you're not alone, but books let you, like stories actually, even if you're not reading books, you could be listening to stories, you could be watching documentaries. Any way you can consume stories. Stories are very innate in terms of who we are as human beings. They let you connect to something bigger than yourself. So I'm going to give you five books that you should check out by Ugandan authors. If you're a Ugandan, it would be a great way for you to get in touch with who you are as a Ugandan, to get back to the drawing board. Because a lot of times, especially as Africans, since our stories were not told by Africans, we get lost in the stories told by the white people to be African stories, or we get lost in knowing everything concerning the Western culture and the Western world, and we never take time to learn our own stories told by people of our own Zungu has stopped there, but told by Ugandan authors, or authors who are like telling the stories from the same place. You get what I mean, Banange? English has failed there, but yeah, you get what I mean. So currently, when I talk about learning like your own identity, currently I'm reading this book, A Girl is a Body of Water by Jennifer Nasubuga Makumbi. Guys, if you're Ugandan and you haven't yet read any of Makumbi's books, please, we're sorting, like go and get yourself a copy of any of the Jennifer Makumbi books. I'm going to give you a couple of books so you can check them out. Currently, I'm reading A Girl is a Body of Water. It's also called, I believe, The First Woman in other, if you're buying it from a UK publisher, it's coming in 2 different titles. And this book, it practically tells a story of what it is to grow up as a Ugandan girl. It shows you how, as Ugandan girls, and this goes on, I think, to African girls as well, because I've talked to a couple of people also outside Uganda. It's the same thing, where we're taught body shame from a young age in terms of the way that the culture talks to you about, for example, your female body parts, how they talk to you about your period and all those things. So this book really showed me where like body shame comes from, in how it's deeply ingrained in our culture. It talks about the girl who is called Chirabo, because it follows a girl called Chirabo. It also goes into how she's sort of figuring out how to be the right, quote unquote, right, because I don't believe there's a right way to be a woman, but to be a Ugandan girl. And you see her going through, like, seeing her auntie. You know, growing up as a girl, there's always that auntie who you want to be like, the one who, she doesn't care about the rules, the society rules, marriage, what, and low-key you want to be like her. And then there's the other auntie who everyone is like, that's the one you should be like. No. So yeah, it shows all that. And I like the fact that someone once said that Jennifer Makumbi writes in Luganda. Like, I swear she does. In this book, she'll be saying things like it's the first time I'll read a book and it's like, me, I'm not going there. And I'm like, sis, I get you. Like the way she says the things in the book is so Ugandan. So because I've talked about Jennifer Makumbi, I'm going to talk about all her books that I like. Don't worry, there are not many. I'm just giving you a lowdown of 5 Ugandan books to check out. So there is this one, which is Chintu, still by Jennifer Makumbi, Chintu. So this one is basically, the way this one is like about a Ugandan girl. This one, Chintu, is the first man, according to Ugandan legends, because all the legends have origins of humans in one way. There was a first man and a first woman. So Chintu was the first man in Uganda. And I feel like this book it gives you facts, like straight hard facts about Uganda, man. I had never read a Ugandan book until I read this one, and I discovered a lot of the things that I didn't know about my culture. For example, like she talks about, you know how we do baby showers and bridal showers, and they tell you all the right things you have to be, a right woman, a right wife, and everything. I didn't know that in our African cultures, they used to do the same for men. So before men got married, they would have a meeting sort of with like their uncles and their dads and everyone, and they teach them how they should treat their wife in bed, outside bed. And so basically the Bakoja, who are uncles, would talk to the young man who's getting married and talk to him about how to be a good husband, which was something I read and I was like, why did we continue this, you know? Again, because our cultures are getting lost in the Western world. And then the last book I'll tell you to read about, by Jennifer Makumbi, is this one. I know you can't see that, but I'll put it in the description. It's called Let's Tell This Story Properly. It's this one. Let's Tell This Story Properly by Jennifer Makumbi. And this one is a collection of short stories. So if you're not a big reader, you can check this one out. It's a collection of short stories about Ugandans in the diaspora. And it's divided into 2. So it's about the Ugandans in the diaspora who are arriving for the first time. They talk about all the cultural shock. I remember in one of the stories, something that really resonated with me is she talks about how quiet this place is. Like, you know, in Uganda, no matter what time of day it is, there'll be a chidandani like, that's like, you know, playing your tunes, whether it's 6 in the morning, whether it's what, there'll be some sort of noise. So, Jennifer brings out like the story of the diaspora very well, especially also the return, because I said the second part of the book is about the return. And she talks about how hard it is to readjust. The stories show like coming back home when everything has moved on and everything like that. So yeah, those are 3 books I have recommended by Makumbi because she's that good. She is that good. And even if you're not Ugandan, check them out because she does a lot of deep research in terms of the stories that were told by the people before us. So it's really good. In terms of learning facts about Uganda, there's this book. This is one of the best books I've read about Uganda's history. And this is Protection, Patronage or Plunder. British, Luzungu, Mashison, something like that. And Uganda's Struggle for Independence. And this is by Apollo N. Makubuya. So Apollo N. Makubuya is a Ugandan author. And he's the 3rd deputy prime minister. I don't know if he still is, but he's a Katikiro and also a minister of justice of Uganda. He's also served as an attorney general in Uganda. Like he has his shit together, guys. So this book basically goes into the history of Uganda as told by a Ugandan. And he has evidence, reference. Vidichimu is in this book, my guy. He has stories and letters that are directly written by the missionaries to other missionaries, stories that were locked away in British museums for a long time and were released. And so this book comes with evidence. Like, we got the receipts, my guy. I think something that was very interesting about this book was showing how much the destruction of the belief structure in Africa led to colonization. So the whole painting the belief structure as voodoo, you know, satanic, demonic, all those things, how the missionaries, like the spread of God and not God, sorry, God was existing before that. The spread of Christianity was used as a colonization tool. This book was just like it will show you how much, if you can get into someone's belief structure, how much you can pretty much alter a lot of things that they believe in. But yeah, this book was really interesting. It also, like, fun fact, Uganda used to do C-sections way before the white peoples came and did everything. So yeah. And then the fifth book that you should check out is this one. I like autobiographies. This is Elizabeth of Toro, The Odyssey of an African Princess, and it's an autobiography by Elizabeth Nyabongo. Yo, guys, let me tell you, this woman for me is a role model. So when I got my hands on this book, because it's hard to get your hand on this book, it's sold in a few libraries. I think you can still get it on Amazon, which is where I got it, because there are not that many copies in the world. And I was insistent. I had to get this book because Queen Elizabeth of Toro, for me, I was always so curious about her, because she was, as much as she was in the royal family, she had this power and strength that she moved with, yeah? And for me, within the African culture, especially being part of the royal family, I can't imagine the strength she had to have to keep her sense of individuality within such a strong structure. You get what I mean? So this book is her autobiography, and I really, really enjoyed reading this one. She talks a lot about her life so she wasn't just a princess. Like Elizabeth, like Queen Elizabeth, she's like a powerhouse. She was the first, I think, lady in East Africa to pass the bar. So she was like a lawyer. She represented Uganda. She was the Minister of Foreign Affairs during Idi Amin's time. So she talks about her struggles serving in such a patriarchal system, because you can imagine Idi Amin, who abolished skirts and trousers, and now you're his Minister of Foreign Affairs. She was a model when she was in the UK. She was like a big fashion model, and I just don't know, like I always loved how she was able to live her life so largely as a woman, especially back in those days. So this book is really interesting. So be sure to check out all the 5 books. I will be linking in the video. You can check out other recommendations by Can We Talk. If you go to our website, which is canwetalkpodcast.online, we have a section there called What You Doing. That is basically a section of recommendations. So you can check out books. Pretty much we'll have on the 5 Ugandan books to check on there as well. We have other books that we've talked about on the podcast there as well. Netflix shows to watch, and guys, sorry. Yeah, Netflix shows to watch and everything. So you can check that out on the website. The website also has like all the links to the episodes, so you don't have to like keep checking for which episode is out and everything like that. But yeah, until then, that has been the 25th episode and the first episode on YouTube for the Can We Talk podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Please be sure to subscribe to us. Now you have 2 channels you have to subscribe to. Subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, whether it's Google Podcasts, Apple. We're coming to Spotify soon, guys. We're just sorting out a few things. Or you can also, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Where do YouTubers point? Somewhere here. You'll be able to subscribe, like, put on the notifications, and be ready for some fire content. Our YouTube channel is going to have more than just the episodes. So if you're listening to this via like the podcast, please check out the YouTube channel as well. It's still under Can We Talk, and it's going to have more content. It will have like how-tos, fun videos, highlights of previous episodes, and things like that. So yeah, that's it for this episode of Can We Talk. It's your girl Belinda signing out.